Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. The topic of this week's podcast is one that I've been kind of wrestling with sharing because in my mind, it sounds almost arrogant to suggest that there's a better way to live, as if we can evaluate by some objective standard whether something is better or worse, or this way of living is better than that way of living. But then when the noise of that objection settles in me, it looks a lot simpler than that. Because the second half of the question, is there a better way to live, would be, is there a better way to live than as a victim of circumstance? Is there a better way to live than in constant fear and insecurity? Is there a better way to live than coping with stress and pressure? Is there a better way to live than keeping your life small so nothing bad happens for as long as possible? Now, for me, my answer to that question, spoiler alert, is, oh yeah. There is a way of being in the world where life is genuinely new and fresh, not just day to day, but moment to moment. There's a way to live where it's pretty simple. You show up, you respond to what shows up. You show up and be yourself and see what happens instead of trying to control what happens and make sure that only the things that you want happen. A way of living in flow instead of fear. A way of coming from possibility instead of memory. Now, I've talked about this better way to live in different ways. I want to be really clear. There is no behavior that I'm saying is better than another behavior. It's not you should be like this, you should do this, not that. I couldn't possibly tell you what will work for you. You are the expert on you. I can tell you what I like, and it may or may not have anything to do with what you like. I can show you my favorite pair of shoes, but unless you happen to have the exact same feet as me, they probably won't fit you the same way they fit me. But there is a better way to live than the way most of us live most of the time. And it's coming from our inner quiet. It's coming from the nicest feeling we can find on the inside. My friend and mentor Mavis Ka, in her book, It's That Simple, A User's Guide for Human Beings, she asks what has long been my favorite question. When's the last time you felt the way you wish you could feel all the time? And whatever that feeling is, that's you. That's a place you can come from. That's the realm of possibility. It's the place of pure potential. It's inner stillness, inner peace. It's a place of flow, no restriction, nothing holding you back. It's a place where you can live in and from your deeper mind, that sort of use of the mind that allows you to connect up to the infinite intelligence of life instead of being restricted to your intellect and memory, no matter how prodigious your intellect or memory are. I went to a lecture in Prague about a year before I recorded this podcast, and I remember one of the talks was given by there were these two guys who were very kind of key figures in the tech world in Europe, and they were talking about the future of artificial intelligence. And one of them was saying, everyone is so worried that artificial intelligence is going to take their jobs. He said, the people whose jobs are going to go first are us, referring to him and his friend. Now, this might sound arrogant, but they just were really, really, really smart guys. He said, because no matter how prodigious our intellect, AI is going to be smarter than us. He said, but what AI doesn't yet have is the power to create from nothing. That is a uniquely human way to live. That is a uniquely human possibility when we align our personal mind with the universal mind. So life can come through us new and fresh. How do you find this place in you? You get quiet as best you can. You look for the nicest feeling you can find. You rest in peace. You live here in presence, recognizing that this is your life. Whatever is happening right now, this is your life. Instead of continually living in Groundhog Day, where the same things happen every day and you keep thinking the same thoughts and having the same feelings and you've got the same list of complaints and the same hopes and the same dreams and the same reasons why you're never going to achieve them. It is possible to live from this deeper space inside. The Scottish mystic Sid Banks talked about it as living from inside, looking within. And he once came away from a conference and was telling one of his colleagues, he said, I always tell people that all they have to do is look inside, but they never do. And that's true. Like we even those of us who talk about this still, from time to time, and maybe a lot of the time, and maybe sometimes not so much of the time, are talking about it from memory instead of from presence. We're talking about it conceptually instead of from the reality of it. But if the basic course in the Inside Out Understanding, the basic course in a better way to live is that you are a spiritual being having a human experience via the gift of mind, consciousness, and thought, then the advanced course is, no, really. And I invite you to consider that there really might be a better way to live, and that it's not by doing certain practices and not doing other things. It's not by agreeing with one philosophy versus another. It's by finding the deepest, most beautiful, quiet, still place inside you. What most mystics would say is the real self with a capital S. And being yourself and living from that space within. Now, if that all sounds too abstract and too like, well, it sounds nice, but how do I do it? I invite you to check out our Inner Circle Platinum at michaelneill.org/inner circle. And it's the place where we can dive deep together over the course of months or a year or even years. It's the place where you'll get access to ongoing conversations about this in every context, from work and business and money to health and relationships and just pure spirituality. And if that appeals and you want to go deeper and you want to learn more about this better way to live for yourself, do check it out at michaelneill.org/inner circle. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk with you soon.